let me say this. One of the things I did about this tonight was I um I kept this specific conversation close to the chest. We didn't normally we have a conversation what about what our deep dive is going to be tonight.
Mm,
Um, but I kept this close to the chest for a reason because I think with it being as fresh, um, I think it's going to hit different. One of the things we talked about was family. We talked about Christmas. We talked about fellowship, and we talked about making sure that uh, that you stay involved and you make sure you love on your people, right?
right.
Let me put this one up right here. Okay, here's the question that I want to pose to our family tonight. Right, what does unconditional love mean to you? Okay, what is unconditional love? Right, we're going into 2024. Charles the car guy's in the building. What's up, Chuck? What's up, Chuck? Mr. Green. What does
Herself.
Purcell, what is unconditional love? Okay. Hef,
Where is this coming from, K
where is
Will?
this coming from? This is coming from
On December 17th, man, you had me worried. You told me that you didn't really want me to know where you wanted to take the deep dive,
right.
and you hit me with this deep shit.
Yeah, yeah,
What does unconditional love mean to me? Does
yeah.
that mean unconditional love with my partner, with my family, with who?
Hey. So look, here we go. Here we go. Here's Ron. 301-857-1757 is
See,
the
that's why
phone
I'm saying.
number.
See, that's why I'm glad Arizona comes through at the right time. Because we asked basically the same question. Because I said, are you referring to my partner or are you referring to family?
Look, outside of family, unconditional love is a myth. This is what my guy says. Uh, um, outside of family. So, Erica says, accepting me for who I am, accepting all parts of me, and loving me still.
Man, say that again.
Erica McCoy, I said, what
Please.
does unconditional love mean to you? She says, accepting me for who I am, accepting all parts of me, and loving me still. Okay. The answer. So
That sounds very Mary J. Blige-ish.
sounds very Mary. It sounds very take me as I am ish.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
So Hef, go ahead. Answer the question first.
Oh, man, just put me back on the
I'm gonna
spot.
put you back on
So,
the
so
spot.
we got to talk about conditions, man.
We got it. Oh, whoa,
You
whoa,
know,
whoa, whoa, whoa. You talking about conditions, and the question is, what is
hey,
unconditional
we
love?
got to talk about conditions for it to be unconditional, right? So follow me, right?
Go ahead.
So Arizona was coming in talking about it doesn't exist outside of family, but you got to love me not just because I got money. You got to love me not just because I do certain things for you or I take care of you in certain ways. Like Erica said, you got to love me for me and everything that comes along with me under any condition, under any circumstance. When I'm at my worst, can you love me? When I'm at my
Mm,
best, can you still give me that same love? That's unconditional, you know? And it's very fluid when it comes to, I think, a relationship because your love changes every day. And I
mm,
don't think that's a bad thing. I think you evolve and you grow together. And, you know, sometimes you might not always still feel like you can stand that person, but you still love them. Now, do you love everybody unconditional? That's the question. I mean, again, there's certain things that come along with it.
mm. So Erica says, but that's unconditional because I'm taking you with everything you come with. And Shanae says, you can love someone unconditionally from a distance. Now, what does that mean?
I don't
What does
believe
that
that.
mean?
That's a condition right there. If I gotta love you at a distance, that's a condition.
What does that mean? Ho. All right, Ron, you over here spitting some other stuff right here because one of the things you're saying is you said it's a myth outside of family. It's a myth. So you telling me that you is unconditional love impossible with a significant other? Is it impossible?
Adjustable love is
Just
more realistic. So that's kind of like what I was speaking on, like love that evolves, adjustable love.
uh-huh.
Shanae says that means that you love them and you want to see them do well and you want the best for them. But maybe they're not meant to be in your life. That to me is not unconditional love.
So therein lies this conversation that
And
we're
I'm not
having,
trying to
right?
come at Shanae's comment because that was very deep and honestly thought provoking. But in my opinion, you would want that person in your life if it's unconditional.
So let me give you one definition of unconditional love and see if you guys agree with this, right? Unconditional love is when you love someone no matter what they do and have no expectation of repayment. It means
Exactly.
you love someone for who they are with no strings attached.
With no consideration of repayment, meaning to say you don't have to be a certain anything for me. I'm gonna just love you. It's all coming to you and nothing in return.
So my man Big Pump says, well, can we start with the definition of love, right? Because
Okay.
because that's important. I'm glad you said that because everybody's definition of love is completely different. Some can be close, completely different. But let's take
We,
it to
we
the literal
broke we
sense,
broke
right? And
we
you
broken
know,
down our feeling of the definition of
yeah.
love before.
So love is an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest in pleasure in something, feel deep affection for, like or enjoy very much. That's the dictionary terms, Oxford Language Dictionary. Um, Another true
Damn.
definition is a quality or feeling of strong or constant affection for and dedication to another.
Shanae just hit me in the gut in the chat. She said, I guess your kids and dogs. That's about it. Well, god damn.
Love with mom says, Patricia says, love without strings attached. All right. So everybody has a definition of what they say, unconditional love is, right? So what happens when you believe you are experiencing, okay, hold on. I would dare to say most people love conditionally, which they should, in your opinion. Why?
Why? Why should
Why?
they?
See, don't come in here and talk this half talk and
I
then
ain't saying it's half talk
no, no,
though,
no. I'm talking
Arizona. I
about
just want
Ron.
to hear
I'm
what you
talking about
feel.
Ron. It's half talk. So here's a question, right? So when we talk about so wait a minute. So if you have expectations for someone to grow as a person, that means you don't love them unconditionally. Answer that, half.
So hold on, let's say this. So if you have expectations for someone to grow as a person, that means you don't. No, no, you can still love someone unconditionally and still have expectations to see them do better in life.
Hmm.
Again, we're talking about if they don't, will you still love them, Shanae? That's the point of the unconditional part. Because if your expectations are not met, do you then love that person from a distance, which is not in my definition unconditional love. This is a definition I go by. Big Funny Pimp says unconditional love doesn't have boundaries. Arizona says. What my man Mike say?
Is unconditional love the same as blind love?
No.
Oof, oof.
But what is blind love, Mike?
Yeah. What is blind love? Whatever you put out for that person, um, so it is whatever you put out for that person. So it is because you don't care, don't expect anything back.
Right.
Um, I did say you have no expectations for them. Um, Pump comes in, love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast, not proud, does not honor others, not self-seeking, not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the
That's
truth.
a beautiful
Right?
definition of love.
That's straight from the Bible. It's straight from the Bible. Blind love is being a 49ers fan. I agree with that. So,
And shit, that's a Jalen Hurts fan on Monday night when you down 25 in a fantasy playoff.
talk that crazy stuff. You talking crazy stuff. So, um, when we're talking about unconditional love, and we're talking about a lot of people are gonna take that situationally, which a lot of people are talking about in our chat too.
But
Situationally.
let me ask you a quick
Go ahead.
question before we get all into the chat. Do I feel unconditional love different? Does it come with a different feeling? Can I feel the love that it's unconditional that I'm receiving?
Well, love is going to be based on the love that you feel is going to be based on how you interpret it, and that is solely based on how you grew up and how you ingested what love is for you within yourself, and in talking about the language of love that you speak. So some people do it um, by doing things for others. Some people are affectionate. Some people are words of gratitude, and some people are just show love by being there, making sure that they are present in your life. So,
But how do you know when you're receiving unconditional love? Because you asked the question, what does unconditional love mean to you?
mhm,
So, but like, how do I know if I'm receiving unconditional love?
you know, there's no, there's no, there is no real like when we talk about using a measuring stick. The only way that we can measure that is based on our own experiences, right? What we feel like, what we've received, and if we're receiving is more in abundance from what we've ever received before, right? So we think we will use that. We will use our own experiences to kind of measure what we think unconditional love is for us as well. Pump says when things appear to be going transactional, um, that that in a sense would it just depends on the person. So I'll use an example, right? When we talking about either being in a relationship or we being in a relationship, whether it be marriage, whether it be short term, long term, but you're in a serious relationship. When infidelity comes into play,
Mhm.
right? Can we still say unequivocally that person has the ability to love me unconditionally?
I don't think you could.
Oh,
And I think that's also a part of not trying to
oh,
use Arizona again as a shield, but I think that's the part that he was trying to. Arizona said you can't have unconditional love outside of family. It's a myth
mm,
because just like you said, when there's infidelity, how can that be unconditional love?
mm,
At that point, you're lying to yourself, and you don't even know if you're in love at that position. But to each their own. I would say, I don't know when you can necessarily put a finger on when you find unconditional love. I know in the relationship that I'm in, I can honestly say that I love, my partner very much. And I tell her every day, I love you multiple times. It's almost
mhm.
like you don't want to oversay it because it's like you still need to do and provide and show and action as well. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to be clear and concise that there's love coming from my heart to her every day. And to me, it doesn't come with a condition because I don't necessarily say you have to be XYZ to keep getting this love.
Mm,
Now, if something were to come into play like infidelity and things of that nature, would the love change? Then that's a whole different question.
So Pump says forgiveness is love, and you don't do it for them, you do it for yourself. That is a very true statement. So how can see one of the things you said that was important is the way that you show love. Like I said, one of the ways you show love is you say it, and you do other things to show that you provide. But the important part on love in general is understanding the love language in which your partner speaks, because
Great point.
you can do all the things that you think is showing love to that person, but the only way that they can truly experience or even consider saying, "Okay, I know this person loves me unconditionally," is by you not only understanding how much you love them and how you want to love them, but loving them the way that they need to be loved.
Or that it
That
connects
makes
to
sense.
them.
And that it connects to them, correct, and that it feeds their soul. Um, and so, um, when we talk about the reason why I bring up infidelity is because um, in relationships, part of the biggest issue is when you have infidelity, those who are out on the outside looking in, those who are on the inside, excuse me, who choose to stay within with those relationships and work through the infidelity. The people on the outside looking in don't aren't understanding of that. So, like you said, can I really say this person can continue to love me unconditionally? You said that in a nutshell. No, I don't know. Now I have questions. So
But then at that point, the person that cheated's not necessarily showing unconditional love. They're the ones prayerfully thankful that the person's still loving them unconditionally,
mhm,
because the person that got cheated on is displaying more of the unconditional love at that point, right?
correct, correct, absolutely. So in the same way we can use infidelity, we can use another form like physical abuse or emotional abuse or stuff like that. People will stay in those relationships because their own idea of unconditional love includes that. They may see that, okay, well, they do this, but I know they love me this way, in which nobody else is. Mike says, I think people feel they love unconditionally, but they end up loving blindly. There are always conditions, and you have to recognize them and deal with them. Now,
But well, what about the people that stay in a relationship that are getting the dog shit end of the deal in the relationship? Like, are they staying there just because they love that person so unconditionally that they're not getting anything in return? But it's just like they're there until, like, I guess that person dies or just like gets rid of them. Because I can tell you right now, I know a few people, not to put them out there, that are in some serious situations that
yeah,
just don't know how to leave.
yeah. So I mean, I think everybody knows somebody that's within a situation that we would wish that they would um, for us, we think for the betterment of them, they would leave and find a different situation or find a different avenue, find different ways to find love out there because we know that that person, we may believe that person is not better, is not the best person for them. And some people stay in those relationships out of fear
They're so far gone, okay, they
or
could be still in them because they feel like they again they're showing unconditional love, so they're just gonna stay.
well, not just well, that part, well, I don't know if it's at that point, is it unconditional love or is it just convenience? Is it being conditioned to your lifestyle? So there are plenty of people that are married that will stay married even though they don't want to be married because they don't want to change their lifestyle. They don't want to either start over or they don't want to have to do the extra things that it's going to take because it's too hard, or they don't want to hurt that person like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't want to hurt that person because they feel like they invested all this time and they can't hurt this person. So they would rather stay in a relationship miserable than to, to actually take a chance and do what you got to do. So so that
It's such a tough question, K Dizzle. When you look at it and then when you start peeling back the layers to it,
yeah.
like my man just says that's tough. And
Hmm.
enough said says they always try to love them no matter what the cost. And that's the thing, like it's all subjective, because you have to be in the situation to feel that your unconditional love is for a purpose. And if it's only because you want that person to know that you love them, but you're going to still be there and deal with the abuse, mental, physical, whatever, emotional, that's tough. And how many relationships do you know where the unconditional love is mutual, where it's displayed on an everyday basis through words and actions? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want every relationship to be like that, but that might not be the case.
Hmm.
So is it a myth? I don't know.
No, it's not.
I would love to say to you, K Dizzle, that I feel like I'm in a relationship with unconditional love, because
Hmm.
who wouldn't want to be in that?
Hmm.
Like, if you don't want to be, I hate to use the corny term, like, you can't be halfway pregnant. If you're gonna be in love, be all the way in love, right?
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like I'm in a situation where love is unconditional. We've been through enough to be able to see and to be able to be tested beyond a shadow of a doubt. I think I have a couple examples. A couple examples where people are that are in real love and they show their love unconditionally, and they may not. It may not be reciprocated in the same way. And
So let me ask you this:
Go
does
ahead.
your love have to be tested for you to know it's unconditional?
Absolutely,
Really?
absolutely.
So
There's a
so your love can't be unconditional if it's never been tested?
nope.
Damn.
Nope. No. How do you know? How do you know how long can some how do you know what's the pressure point of something
It's
breaking
test
if
proof.
you don't test it? If
The
it
love
doesn't,
is
if you
so
don't
strong
bend
it
it,
can't be tested.
how do you know it won't break? If you don't, if it's not, if you don't bend it, how do you know it won't break?
Hey man, there's couples that can tell you, you know what, our love is so strong and unconditional, it's never tested.
It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy. We all
Yeah,
know it.
exactly,
It's
Sal.
a
We
fallacy.
are.
There's
Man, it's
no
the
way.
last episode of 2023, baby.
So there's no way you can tell me you're in love with a person, y'all in a relationship, you commit a relationship, and the love has never been tested. The love has never been tested to the point where, because there have been times in my relationship, my wife was like, "Look, you either gonna get it together or we not gonna be together."
But do you have a
Real talk.
but again, you said before there's no measuring stick though, right?
There's no measuring stick. There's no measuring stick. One of the things is that when you feel that, it's kind of like when you choose your partner, right? And you decide to commit to them wholeheartedly. You cut everybody back. You want to see how far this goes. It's when you know that, you know. It's nothing anybody tells you. It's nothing anybody advises you about. It's nothing anybody gives you that says, "Hey," pushes you towards. You make the decision on your own.
Mm.
Not you, not anybody else. You decide. You decide to move in together. You decide to make it real. You decide to cut everything back. So it's not a thing that anybody can tell you. There's no measuring stick. When you know, you know. And the importance of knowing, and not only just knowing for yourself, but also understanding the different types of love and being able to discern, hey, this isn't the right thing for me, because they're like we talked about, which is hugely important, which is why I want to have this conversation. People um mistake love, um abuse for love. People mistake verbal abuse for love. People mistake neglect for love. People mistake mismanagement of money for love. And what I mean by that is they go out and they buy all these lavish gifts and everything and live a lifestyle that they can't afford because they want you to feel like they want to give you the world.
People mistake freak offs for love.
People mistake freak offs for loves, like my man Diddy. Being tested is not being been testing. It's meant to be or not. You gotta say that again because I can't get that. It's meant to be or not. Being tested isn't. It's meant to be or not.
Mm.
Being tested is being tested and to see where you are. You can be tested in different parts of a relationship before you get to that. Before you get to wherever you're trying to go, and if you don't make it, you don't make it. And that's an important thing to understand. Really, what you got to understand who you are first and what makes you tick and what the things you want from the person. Yeah, Diddy is off the chain. Diddy loves everybody. He buys everybody matching outfits. That's why he changed his name. Now we understand why his name was Love. He changed it to Love because he loved everybody, male, female, him, her, she, and every pronoun. But
Mm.
you got to understand what matters to you when we're talking about love. And you should not accept anything less than that, or you should not accept being degraded in other areas because you think you're getting what you need. You deserve everything that you desire out of that relationship. But keep in mind when I say that too, there is some compromises involved with love. And there are, even though the love can be unconditional, there are some conditions to meeting that unconditional love. Like I said, being able to understand what your love language is and you being fed the way you need to be fruitful in that relationship. So
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I'm
Well
not going
said,
huge
King.
in that.
Because you
I'm
talking
not
your shit, man.
I know I'm going huge in that, but I want to put a huge emphasis on that because moving forward in 2024, you're going to have people in your life, as we all do for seasons and purposes, and we're going to meet people, and you gotta sometimes, a lot of you guys said this, in this, we're gonna meet people and we're gonna leave people behind. That doesn't mean we don't love them from afar.
Mm.
You guys understand how to do that. We love them from afar. We're going to root for their success, um, We can show them unconditional love when they fail or when they succeed, but just know what they mean for you to you in your life. Yeah, basically, if not being tested, there is no unconditional love.
But you know what? I think also what's very important here is you got to love yourself unconditionally.
Mm,
You know, and that's where I think it begins. A lot of us we depend on you know like in my relationship. Like I gotta admit, like there's certain times where I depend on my baby to make me feel better,
right, right,
and there's certain times to where I can't always expect that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because and you might agree, you might disagree, but it's not. And she says it to me all the time. It's not up to her. Like my happiness should not be based upon her,
Hmm.
and vice versa. You should be able to find that happiness in yourself because you're gonna have your bad days.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And when you love somebody unconditionally, you might have to get yourself together or pull yourself through because your partner's not having that bandwidth for you at that moment.
right.
So there's a lot to it, man. And that's why I say love yourself, because if you can find that in yourself, you won't be really affected as much, when you go through those ebbs and flows with other people's emotions and how they feel, because you're feeling good about yourself, you're working out, you're healthy, you have goals, you're accomplishing things that you want as an individual, because the stronger you are is going to also, reflect on the strength of your relationship.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Good, good word.
And I know, and they know, and we know.